Good afternoon, everybody. This is Real News, and we're just doing some fun stuff. We're just doing a little bit of hanging out before the White House stream begins. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for hanging out today. I think Mr. Henry is on the line. You there, buddy? You're muted. There you go.
I'm good now. Yes, sir. How's it going, buddy?
Doing great. And we're doing our first watch party that it's really interesting. I'll let Grant fill you in on some of the details, but we're going to do the traditional thing we've been doing the past couple of weeks. We're on Real News. We'll play the White House briefing, but we're going to have a little private session that's not broadcasted, but we're all going to watch it and talk about it and stuff like that. But Mr. Henry, you want to fill him in on it a little bit?
Yeah, just a quick introduction here. See, Catherine's in us right now. Thanks so much for joining us, Catherine. A few other people are going to be joining right now. The purpose of these little watch parties, what we're going on, and we're going to jump straight to President Trump here in a second, is to have this sense of a shared experience, all right? I think we're all sort of stuck together right in our periods of isolation, if you will, and we need human interaction. We need to be able to build community. We need to be able to have shared experiences going forward. So during this time, as I keep explaining to people, we can focus on growth and progression and strength and rebuilding and all these signs of positivity, of things that are going to come, as opposed to looking into the past and looking into sort of dire predictions and darkness and doubt and all that other stuff, man. And you do that by building community with each other. You do that through shared experiences of all watching the same thing together, commenting on the same things together, of building each other up, man, of sharing information, of sharing stories, of anecdotes, of positive stuff that's happening in your communities, of ways we can help each other, of businesses that might be innovating right now that have unique twists in the economy that you can pour back into sometimes, right? Or maybe we could talk about them on stuff like this and people can help them out. It's part of why we're doing this, and we're just trying to figure this out in a way that might possibly be able to do it by just simply watching some things together. So, Sean, I think actually right now I see Trump is going here, man. I'm probably going to grab it from YouTube feed of my own, and we'll get straight into this live portion here. And again, throw some comments up in the chat section here, the watch party. If you're on Facebook watching, we'll interact with those comments as well. And at any point, Sean, just get my chin to let me know. We can have some audio commentary as well.
I'm trying to get it to play right now.
Oh, that's no worries, man.
It's frozen. There we go. But as soon as do we want to stop the stream and then restart it with the White House?
Let me just share it. I'll share my screen in the Zoom, and then whatever you do on Facebook won't matter anyways. You know what I mean? Let me just grab the share screen here. And then literally anything you're doing for the streaming on the Facebook stuff will be good to go. So
by the flu.
Right. Can you hear that, Sean?
It's very substantial.
Yep.
All right,
said that if they didn't shake hands, that number would be substantially lower. So maybe it'll stay. Maybe some of these things long term will be good. But those guidelines are still the best and the safest way to avoid the infection. So with the masks, it's going to be really a voluntary thing. You can do it. You don't have to do it. I'm choosing not to do it, but some people may want to do it, and that's okay. It may be good. Probably will. They're making a recommendation. It's only a recommendation. It's voluntary. We're also taking action to ensure the cost of no barrier to any American seeking testing or treatment of the coronavirus. The largest insurer nationwide, the Blue Cross Blue Shield system, has now announced that it will not require any copays, which is really something. That's a tremendous statement, from patients of the virus treatment for the next 60 days, similar to the commitments of Cigna, Humana, Anthem. Those are great companies, and they're all doing the same thing. So copays, for them to do that it's a big statement. We appreciate it. Today, I can so proudly announce that hospitals and healthcare providers treating uninsured coronavirus patients will be reimbursed by the federal government using funds from the economic relief package Congress passed last month. So that was as per the question yesterday, and actually the day before yesterday. This should alleviate any concern uninsured Americans may have about seeking the coronavirus treatment. So that's, I think, answers the question pretty well, and very much in the favor of our great people. I'm also signing a directive invoking the Defense Production Act to prohibit export of scarce health and medical supplies by unscrupulous actors and profiteers. The Secretary of Homeland Security will work with FEMA to prevent the export of health and medical supplies by unscrupulous actors and profiteers. The Secretary of Homeland Security will work with FEMA to prevent the export of N95 respirators, surgical masks, gloves, and other personal protective equipment. We need these items immediately for domestic use. We have to have them. But we've done really well with the purchase of items, and you'll be hearing about that shortly. We've already leveraged the DPA to stop the hoarding and price gouging of crucial supplies. Under that authority, this week, the Department of Health and Human Services, working with the Department of Justice, took custody of nearly 200,000 N95 respirators, 130,000 surgical masks, 600,000 gloves, as well as bottles, many bottles, and disinfectant sprays that were being hoarded. All of this material is now being given to healthcare workers. Most of it's already been given out. And we've given a lot to New York, a lot to New Jersey, a lot to other places. In addition, to ensure that healthcare workers in New York have the protective equipment they need, the federal government, in the name of the Department of Defense, is providing about 8.1 million N95 respirators, Department of Defense, and we've already given 200,000 of them to New York City. Mayor de Blasio needed them very badly, so we got them to Mayor de Blasio in New York City. They were very grateful. 8.1 million, and we're going to be increasing that number from 8.1 million to more. That's a lot of N95 respirators. Today, my team spoke with the CEO of Ochsner Health and the CEO of LCMC, the two largest health systems in New Orleans. They said they feel that they currently have enough ventilators. I think a lot of people are going to have enough ventilators and masks and appreciate what we did and all of the things we've been doing with them, working with them. The CEO of Ochsner, Warner Thomas, who's really been fantastic, I have to say, indicated a need for 230,000 surgical gowns, and I instructed FEMA to deliver them tomorrow, so they'll have the 230,000. That's Louisiana, New Orleans. 230,000 surgical gowns, they'll have them by tomorrow. We're expanding the role of the armed forces in our response effort because no one is better prepared to win a war than the United States military, and we are in a war. The invisible enemy, remember. Over 9,000 retired Army medical personnel have answered their nation's call and are now supporting field hospitals and medical facilities all across the country, like what I just told you, that Governor Cuomo requested we do something in Javits where we take it over, and we're going to have that manned by the military, because it's very tough to get more people in the New York area, so we're going to have it manned by the military. Javits Center. National Guard members have been activated to help states build new treatment centers and assist in the seamless distribution of medical supplies. That includes National Guard. The National Guard is assisting very strongly because the states were, in many cases, unable to have the delivery capability from warehouses and other places that we put the supplies. So I've given approval to use the National Guards, the various National Guards in the different states. And they're doing a fantastic job of not only protecting people, but delivering material. The Army Corps of Engineers has assessed more than 100 facilities in all 50 states and is rapidly building temporary hospitals and alternative care sites in many states, in New York, New Jersey, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Arizona, California, Colorado, Florida, Illinois, New Mexico, Oregon, Washington, Wisconsin, Ohio. They're doing a lot of work, and just those states plus additionals that are being will be announced probably tomorrow, but they're doing some job. The Army Corps of Engineers, what a job they're doing, and FEMA, what a job they're doing.
Hey, what's happening?
As we deploy the power of our military, we're also deploying the skill of our doctors,
For a
scientists,
second,
and medical
it shut down
researchers.
because I had to update.
We continue
on
to
my
study the
personal-
effectiveness
on my work
of
computer.
hydroxychloroquine and other therapies in the treatment and prevention of the virus, and we will keep the American people fully informed on our findings. Hydroxychloroquine, I don't know, it's looking like it's having some good results. I hope that would be a phenomenal thing, but we have it right now. In approximately now, it's increased to 1,500 people. I spoke with Dr. Zucker in New York, terrific guy, by the way. He's doing a good job. And I spoke to Governor Cuomo last evening and this morning about it. So it's been there for about 3.5 days, but I think, and in many other places it's being tested too. And we have a tremendous supply of it. We've ordered it in the case that it works, and it could have some pretty big impacts. So we'll see what happens. My administration is also working to get relief to American workers and businesses in day one of the Paycheck Protection Program. As Kevin said, more than $3.5 billion in guaranteed loans have been processed to help small businesses keep their workers employed during the unprecedented time, And Bank of America has been incredible. Of the big banks, Bank of America has really stepped forward and done a great job. And then you have the community banks, your smaller banks, and we're already at $3.5 billion going out to incredible people. But that's way ahead of schedule. The SBA and the Treasury are working around the clock, and our banking partners are really incredible. And they're ensuring that the money gets to small businesses as quickly as possible, and then the small business, in turn, take care of employees that they would have had to let go, and now they'll keep them. And that's good. And then they're going to open for business, and they're going to have their employees, and we'll try and get back to where we were. Eventually, we're going to supersede where we were. The energy industry has been especially hard hit in the crisis. This afternoon, I met with Greg Garland of Phillips 66, Dave Hager of Devon Energy, Harold Ham of Continental Resources, Jeff Hildebrand of Hillcorp Energy, Vicki Hollub of Occidental Petroleum, Mike Summers of the American Petroleum Institute, Kelsey Warren of Energy Transfer Partners, Mike Worth of Chevron, and Darren Woods of ExxonMobil. I informed them that we will be making space available in the Strategic Petroleum Reserve to let American producers store surplus oil that can be sold at a later time. There's a tremendous abundance of oil, primarily because of the virus. The virus has just stopped demand of everything, including oil. So we're working with our great energy companies. These are great companies. They employ tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people. And they've kept America really going for a long time, and no big price hikes, no big anything. I mean, they've just kept it going, and now they got hit. But with all the jobs and all of the good that they do, we're going to make sure that they stay in good shape. America is engaged in a historic battle to safeguard the lives of our citizens, our future society. Our greatest weapon is the discipline and determination of every citizen to stay at home and stay healthy for a long time. And we want them to stay healthy for a long time. So stay at home. This is ending. This will end. You'll see some bad things, and then you're going to see some really good things. And it's not going to be too long. We will heal our citizens, and we will care for our neighbors, and we will unleash the full might of the United States of America to vanquish the virus. And with that, I'd like to ask Mike Pence to come up, Vice President, say a few words, and we'll have a couple of other quick talks on a couple of subjects, and we'll take questions. And it's a beautiful Friday in Washington, D.C., and our country's a great place, and we're getting better. We're getting better very quickly. This was artificially induced. We just said, they said, close it down. You have to close it down. We closed it down, and we're healing, and we're going to get it better fast. So, Mike, if you could come up, say a few words, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. The President just outlined a number of the decisions